Part 76. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 779. According to the plan, Yang Yu would rush back to Hangzhou every Wednesday and spend the next 2 days instructing students at Hangcheng TV University. This is Yang Yu's home court, and there is a legend circulating on campus that the trainers who come out of Yang Yu's training class are all the young talents of the school's elite alliance. Even some teachers have come to join in the fun of registration for this course. Zhao Shenzi, the teacher who led the national competition last year, was one of the teachers who came to join in the fun. For Yang Yu, it doesn't matter. Whether it's a teacher or a student, it's all the same. At least in Yang Yu's class, they are all Yang Yu's students. Yang Yu asked Reggie Locke to stay at Yanjing's house. Reggie Locke was busy developing a teaching game similar to the elf PvP battle. Regarding the game, Reggie Locke's wisdom core was extremely attentive. There is the basic information of the students and the data of the elves. Through the Regirock core algorithm, the level of the elves, as well as game data such as blood volume, physical attack and defense, etc. are calculated. In order to get a better gaming experience, Reggie Locke also asked Little Dream Demon to contact Gengar Laohe. With Internet Rotom, Reggie Locke can help Reggie Locke solve many complicated designs, but Gengui Laohe is a little excited about the idea of this game. The birth of every game means the emergence of a new way of playing games. Just charging money can make you stronger, isn't that too much? It's not too much to recharge a VIP, recharge a monthly card, or recharge a small amount of money, right? By the way, I would like to make a combat effectiveness ranking list for my brothers in the Ghost Tower. The higher the combat effectiveness, the higher the reward. Well, this feels very nice. In reality, you are submissive, but on the internet, you still dare not strike hard? Just top up the money and that's it. The Qingming festival of the New Year is coming soon. How about doing a top-up activity? With the help of the Ghost Tower's internal network, it didn't take Reggie Locke too long. The elves in the Ghost Tower are all geniuses and they speak nicely. Reggie Locke liked it very much. After the game of the elf battle class of Yanjing Elf University was completed, Gengui Laohe and Reggie Locke had a super long-distance PK. They randomly selected a student from the first class as their character and started Elf Battle. This is the equivalent of a game internal beta for elf battles. This kind of brain-burning PvP battle, coupled with the combination of elf lineup and elf moves. There is also the random generation of venues. For example, the pool venue will have a 20% strength bonus for water elves and water-type moves, a 20% strength weakening for fire elves and fire-type moves, a hit bonus for electric-type moves, and various weather conditions. Influence. It also includes the effects of invisible rocks, poisonous spikes, slings and other moves when changing elves. In short, this teaching game jointly produced by Regirock and Ghost Tower is enough to make trainers feel brain-burning. However, for elite trainers, they have to face extremely complex battle situations. If they want to become more powerful, they must adapt to various situations. Therefore, this teaching game is very targeted. Of course, when Gengui Laohe plays the final version of the game in his Ghost Tower, it will definitely be a castrated version, a fool's version, brainless and fun, and you can become stronger by charging money, but you still have to move during the battle. It's no-brainer, but the elf coin warrior will never be a slave. In this educational version of the elf battle that is linked to real-life strength, Gengar Laohe naturally cannot beat Reggie Locke. As long as Reggie Locke does not let go, Gengui Laohe's computing power will be far inferior to Reggie Locke. The only ones who can fight Reggie Locke are probably Metagross and Laohyuti. Gengui Laohe's home ground is in the virtual game world. However, Gengui Laohe asked Reggie Locke to be his stone strategist for a few days. For such a fun game, of course Gengui Laohe will have to fight against Laohyuti in the air. Well, Gengui Liahe hired a substitute. Lao Hudi could tell at a glance. Lao Hudi won't expose it. Anyway, Gengui Liahe hired a substitute fighter, so he can't beat him. Of course, occasionally letting Gengui Liahe have some water to make Lao He happy is a trivial matter. Otherwise, Gengui Liahe will have to hug his fat self sadly. It's a game, just have fun. Yang Yu has received the information feedback from Reggie Locke, and he is not surprised. When the template is available, he can go back and import the student information and ELF data from Hangzhou ELF TV University into the ELF Battle Teaching Edition game. After seeing the joyful smile on Yang Yu's face, Lily Ying guessed and asked, "Professor Yang Yu, has the teaching game been completed?" Yang Yu nodded and said with a smile, "Yes, the production is completed." Unlike Hu Jing, in addition to being Yang Yu's teaching assistant, Hu Jing also has a postgraduate course at Yanjing ELF University. For Lily Ying, she only has one course, and that is to follow Yang Yu. When they were in Sakura country, although Lily Sakura valued Yang Yu and sent Nozawa Naburo to entertain Yang Yu, it was only after entering the secret realm of Sky City that Lily Sakura realized that she still despised Yang Yu. Now, this is a form of apology and a form of learning. Bai Heng was a little curious about what kind of teaching game would be in the hands of Professor Yang Yu, and what kind of outstanding performance it would have. "By the way, Lily Sakura, I remember that you have a gym-level Koga Ninja Frog, right?" Yang Yu said, sitting on the back of the Salted Fish King, who was about to rush back to Yanjing from Hangzhou. For long-distance flights at such high altitudes, it is more suitable to take Xianyu King or Xiabao Bao. "Yes, what are Professor Yang's orders?" Lily Ying replied respectfully. "Well, you don't need to be so serious. It's nothing. Just help me train an elf and take it to practice its physical strength. After all, it's just an infant elf," Yang Yu said. "Yes. The elf that Yang Yu wants to train is naturally Guaguapao Frog. When Guaguapao Frog was young, the best teacher was actually the Koga Ninja Frog among the tribe. Before starting to learn moves, he had to lay the most basic physical foundation. Whether it was reaction speed or physical agility, no matter how hard he trained, would be wrong. This can be regarded as finding a good teacher for Guaguapao Frog. The mini dragons and little dream monsters that showed off their skills in the battlefield made Guaguapao Frog envious. After all, Guaguapao Frog had also achieved 10 consecutive victories in the battle between junior elves before. It's a pity. Junior elves are still junior elves. In this battle involving at least high-level elves, no matter how good Guaguapao Frog is, he will not be able to get on the stage. Now that Yang Yu has basically settled down, and everyone's strength is slowly increasing, naturally Guaguapao Frog cannot be left behind. Got it? Although it is a bit extravagant to let the gym-level Koga Ninja serve as the mentor of Guaguapao, it is definitely worth the effort, not to mention. Yang Yu seems to have paid nothing. Sure enough, handsome people can be eaten as food. The first week is indeed quite busy, but the advantage is that Yang Yu can pick up Yang Xiao after get off work on Friday. From now on, this arrangement will basically be every week. He has been busy outside some time ago, and even only during the holidays, Yang Yu will have time. There was some debt, and Yang Yu had to make up for it. After returning to Beijing this time and meeting with the students and having friendly exchanges, Yang Yu also made a separate plan. It just so happened that the national competition was about to start. As the former chief trainer of Yanjing Elf University, Cai Xuanyi also had to lead the team to the forest area for the team competition according to the practice of Yanjing Elf University. This national competition is hosted by Hangzhou Elf University, and the next one will be hosted by Yang Yu's alma mater, Hangcheng Elf University of Electronic Science and Technology. Interestingly, these two forest team competitions will be held in Mingzhou Forest. This year's Magic City Traffic Elf University changed the venue to the Meteor Forest because of Lao Hu's super evolution, which made the meteor forest about to evolve into a secret elven realm. If we want to hold a national competition in meteor forest now, this is absolutely impossible. After all, the scale of the national competition is too large and there are too many people participating. In short, no matter what, this means that Yang Yu is home again. The little Dream Demon's home is in the Pearl Forest, and the Dream Demon clan is the largest in the Pearl Forest. The two Dream Demons, the parents of the little Dream Demon, happen to be the leaders of the tribe. Yang Yu felt a little regretful. The best he could do now was to participate in the national competition as a team leader. Otherwise, Yang Yu would be able to entertain guests at home. After the little Dream Demon learned the news, she was so sad that she almost couldn't eat anymore. If it weren't for Tajipai, Mimikyu, and the mini dragon comforting him, the little dream monster felt like the sky was about to fall. When you arrive at little Dream Demon's home, wouldn't it be too much to not bring a gift like some deduction coins? It's a pity that such an opportunity was missed like this. However, after thinking about it, the little Dream Demon seemed to have a solution. When the time comes, wouldn't it be enough to let mommy, daddy, and the 7 uncles and 8 aunties in the clan help the little dream monster? Ying ying ying. Daddy can't get back to 0 once, and mommy too. Mommy can't get back to 0 once, and there is brother. Once is not enough, come again, the Dream Demon clan is endless. It's gold and it will eventually be spent. It's a coin deduction and it will always return to 0. This tutorial version of the game seems to be missing something. Yang Yu looked at the list of 60 students in the 2 districts and fell into deep thought for a while. By the way, why did I forget myself? As an excellent elf battle professor, I should lead by example, whether in reality or in the game. In this teaching version of the game, I can't say anything else. Is it a big boss level? Where's my own game character? Set the abilities of the 4 elves, Salty Fish King, Duday, Big Beauty, and Little Bayo Bayo, to max, and hide them. Reggie Long Long Rock Rock, the Long Long Rock form in the game can be relatively weak, and Mini Dragon, the Little Dream Demon and the Croaking Frog. Quagwapow Frog, please don't arrange to go up there for now. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 780. Class 1, Chen Bingkaiu, what software did Professor Yang share with us, the Elf Battle, teaching version? What is this, does anyone know? And how could you be so chatty last night? There were still people there at 4 in the morning, where are you cultivating immortals? Around 6:30 on Monday morning, someone in the quiet class group suddenly got excited. Class 1, Fang Jian, this software is poisonous. Chen Bingkaiu, what time did you go to bed last night? I've been playing all night. Class 1, Chen Bingkaiu, I went to bed early last night and went to bed around 11 o'clock. Lao Fang, what's going on? Why did the group score 99 plus on the first day? Class 1, Fang Jian, Smile download Professor Yang's software to your mobile phone. It will support any system. You will know after downloading it. I won't tell you now. I'm going to find Lu Zequin. The battle continued for 300 rounds. This guy said to go to bed early and go to bed early, but he secretly gained points behind my back. Chen Bingkai looked at the class group that was gradually quieting down and fell into deep thought for a moment. When he didn't understand it intermittently at first, Chen Bingkai thought that these people in the group stayed up all night and went to the school arena to play elf battle. They even fought all night long. Can this elf battle last all night? Let alone humans, elves can't stand it. Judging from Fang Jian's explanation, it seemed that it was the software given by Professor Yang. To play elf battle through the software, Chen Bingkai downloaded the Elf Battle Teaching Edition software. The icon of the software is a Magi Carp. Please select school. Please enter student number. Please enter password. Chen Bingkai followed the steps and entered his information. Then, the interface changed. Welcome Chen Bingkai, a student from Yanjing Elf University. Chen Bingkai found that he had obtained the avatar of a cartoon character. Although he did not know who the person with the red and white hat was, he was sure that it was the trainer template in this interface. Following the guidance in the interface, Chen Bingkai saw the information about the elves he currently has. Only 6 are currently displayed, and they are all Chen Bingkai's current main force. Let me go. There are also the elf's level, health, physical attack, physical defense, special attack, special defense, and speed value, as well as the elf's race value and effort value. What is this effort value? Chen Bingkai was extremely surprised. Could this be the information that Professor Yang Yu compiled after taking a test in the course last week? Although Metagross can help analyze the strength of elves, but all this information was integrated into this game within a week. Oh no, this teaching software, and the various data in it, are quite decent. Novice Training Ground. The guidance was still continuing. Chen Bingkai followed the arrow guidance and pointed to the training ground. Hey, isn't this Professor Yang? Chen Bingkai couldn't help but feel happy. In the novice training ground, Chen Bingkai has only one opponent, and that is the NPC named Professor Yang. Is this going to be an elf battle? Come on, let's give it a try. Chen Bingkai continued to smile. The battle between elves begins. The interface changes. The original scene was now filled with dark clouds, and there were even faintly visible violent lightnings in the background. It's Professor Yang's trump card, the Scarlet Gyarados. Chen Bingkai's eyes lit up. Now it's Chen Bingkai's turn to send out the elf. Chen Bingkai wanted to choose his own dual-type elf telepathy clay puppet of ground type and super power type, but why couldn't he click it? This sand sculpture arrow only points to this one part of the water arrow turtle, and there is no way to change it. Chen Bingkai almost spit out a mouthful of old blood. He could only follow the guidance and continue moving forward, and had no choice but to choose the water arrow turtle. Please select a move. The time you choose a move will affect the time when the elf moves. Chen Bingkai has already seen that Professor Yang has selected a move, and the words 100,000 volts have appeared. Chen Bingkai is still thinking. There is a countdown of 10 seconds, don't rush. However, the countdown had just reached 6 when a thunderbolt struck directly from the screen and struck the water arrow turtle. The effect is outstanding. The water arrow turtle fell and chose to change the elf. Chen Bingkai. Believe it or not, I smashed my phone? Didn't the countdown last for 10 seconds? Why did it strike like lightning before the countdown was finished? Can't you afford it? Suddenly, Chen Bingkai thought of the previous reminder. The time you choose to move will affect the elf's move time. This also means that if you choose slowly, your opponent's moves will have already been struck before you can choose them. What the hell? Forget it, it's just a novice guide, there is no need to be angry. Chen Bingkai breathed a sigh of relief and continued, sending out his second elf Flame Horse. The Flame Horse is affected by the rainy weather, its strength is weakened by 20%, and the power of fire-based moves is weakened by 20%. Chen Bingkai. Spray Flames. Chen Bingkai almost gritted his teeth and clicked on this move. With the strength of his hand, he almost broke the screen. How can you bear this? However, another lightning flashed on the screen and struck the flaming horse. Another instant kill with full health. The flame horse has fallen, please change the elf. I don't believe it anymore. I have a telepathic earth puppet with ground attributes. How can I be struck by lightning? On the screen, this time, the flashing electric light of the Scarlet Gyarados was replaced by the dragon's wrath sprayed from its mouth. Chen Bingkai. Chen Bingkai understood at once that this novice guide was simply here to improve the mentality. Didn't he say that he should be friendly to the novices? How could he see the friendliness? Thunderstorm is detected, the Thunder Beast's thunder hit is 100%, and the power of electric moves is increased by 20%. When Chen Bingqiu saw this line of words, he felt happy subconsciously. However, when he clicked OK. Characteristics of Scarlet Gyarados, triggered by electricity storage, electric moves are invalid. Professor Yang, please let me go. Chen Bingqiu didn't know how he ended this novice guide. Being a novice guide gave him a nightmare-like feeling. This early in the morning, his mood felt a little wrong. How could they, who stayed up all night long, how could they bear it? After the novice orientation, an email came to Chen Bingqiu's mailbox. Written above is a partial introduction to the teaching version, as well as Chen Bingqiu's training goals for the second week. The combat effectiveness of elves in reality will affect the virtual combat effectiveness in the elf battle teaching version. The combat effectiveness can be updated in real time. Chen Bingqiu was a little surprised now. How could he not know what this meant? At this moment, a battle message came from the screen. Fang Jian invites you to an elf battle, confirm/cancel. So it's like this. If you have an elf battle, you don't have to go to the elf battlefield. This is very convenient in your free time. You can fight whenever you want. Although there are some differences in real elf battles in reality, this is also a teaching method. Chen Bingqiu gathered up his confidence after being guided by novices. But to be honest, even if we fight against elves in reality, this is what it looks like, right? Being electrocuted by Professor Yang's Scarlet Gyarados, and then, the entire army was wiped out? Forget it, don't think about it, this is just a virtual teaching game, but the combat power of the elves in reality can also be reflected in this teaching game. In reality, there may not be many elves fighting in a day, but in this teaching in the game. Chen Bingqiu's expression changed. If you don't train the elves properly and cultivate the elves properly, you will be beaten in the virtual teaching game. Every student who can listen to Professor Yang Yu's class here has his own pride. In reality, he is not afraid of the trainer's challenge. In this teaching game, will he still be afraid? Come on, who is afraid of whom? Chen Bingqiu clicked OK. Yang Yu's elf battle teaching version mobile software needs to be authorized by the school, which involves the student's student ID and password, and it must be ensured that the information cannot be leaked. Therefore, this teaching version of the mobile phone software will also be inspected by the school. The novel software was related to Professor Yang Yu's teaching, so it naturally attracted the attention of many professors. Professor Xiao Yang is really amazing. This elf battle teaching version of the mobile phone software is so good. It's just a bit narcissistic, the novice guidance is really unbearable to watch. Ha ha ha, yes, but after passing this novice guide, the content in it is really good. I've seen it, and it's really helpful for the teaching of elf battle courses. Hey, I used to doubt that the teaching level was not enough, but now that I think about it, I'm really laughing my head off. It covers elf characteristics, elf attributes, elf individual values, elf moves, etc., and it is a teaching software that is almost tailor-made by Professor Xiao Yang for these students. It is thoughtful, so thoughtful, and it is very suitable for young people. Trainer. Come on, Lao Li, let's also fight a dozen elves. Old Chen, you actually directly took Cai Xuanyi, who has the strongest overall strength. You are cheating. Can this be called cheating? This is to strike first. The two old professors, each holding their own mobile phones in their hands, were fighting each other in the air, and their faces were red with anger. Professor Yang Yu's idea is really a genius idea. The status of Lucario's wave guide power is taken into account in the teaching. If the wave missile is used continuously, the power effect will increase sequentially within 3 times, but from the 4th wave missile if you start, it will weaken Lucario's combat effectiveness. After passing an elf battle test, he created such an exquisite elf battle teaching edition software. In addition, he can cultivate a mini dragon that can master jet flames, freezing light, and 100,000 volts. Perhaps, he has better help. A way to solve the excess power of Lucario's waveguide. Cai Soigny, my heart is moved. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Shao. Chapter 781. Chen Bingkaiu, let me fight again, let me fight again. I don't believe I can't beat Fang Jian. Xiao Chen, you have played 3 games and lost them all. Look at my record. I played 7 games in the arena and lost them all. The winning rate is 0. You're not a good elf. Your level in the game is so low that you can't beat others. Do you blame me? Xiao Chen. Shut up, you mother hummer, I will kill you directly, do you believe it or not? Chen Bingkaiu, don't, brother, I was wrong, I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Elf Battle Teaching Version game, as expected, spread around Yanjing Elf University. It has to be said that Qingjing Elf University is very well informed. Soon, Senior Brother Qian led Wan Kai and Zhou Pidian I came over quickly and got a download resource, and at the same time I imported my students' information and elf data into it. For students, this is like an invisible spur. Do you want your elves in the game to be more powerful? Then let's train the elves in reality. The two are linked to each other. Of course, it does not mean that the stronger the elf lineup is, the surer one will win in the elf battle. Use various countermeasures to target the opponent's elf, such as invisible rock, poison spike, etc., and use strategies to weaken the elf. Victory against the strong is also the charm of the battle between elves. However, if unilateral strength crushes it, then forget it. Almost every student has experienced the power of Professor Yang's control of thunder. The novice guide in the game will not be able to proceed with the next steps unless he is shocked a few times. This also makes these young students share the same hatred and want to torture Professor Yang thousands of times in this game. However, the ideal is very full and the reality is very skinny. The professor has abused me thousands of times, and I treat him like my first love. If you're lucky, you might encounter a little dream monster or a mini dragon, and you might even have a chance to win a small round. As for the rest, forget it, I won't go into details. If you say too much, you'll be pushed directly into the team. Yang Yu has already arranged his personal plan for the 3rd and 4th weeks. Hu Jing and Lily Ying will stay at Yanjing Elf University to help Yang Yu conduct targeted training for graduate students according to the plan. As for Yang Yu, Hangzhou. The bus coming out of the airport slowly drove towards the Pearl Forest. The Yanjing Elf University team here is participating in the national competition. At this time, Yang Yu and Cai Soigny, leading the team, have arrived in Hangzhou. Professor Yang, I will trouble you with Lucario's training these days, Cai Soigny said. Yang Yu replied with a smile, it's not too much trouble. Let's make progress together. During the national competition, we can also carry out teaching tasks here. It is also one of my tasks to help you train the elves. When I was choosing courses before, I was a little afraid to choose. Professor Yang, you may not believe it, but I really had no choice but to choose this course just for the credits, Cai Soigny said sheepishly. Now, does it smell good? Fragrant. Ha 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 ha, okay, Lao Cai, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll go back to Hangcheng TV University first. I'm the team leader on that side this year, and I have to bring the contestants from my alma mater tomorrow. Okay, Professor Yang, see you tomorrow. After Yang Yu left, Cai Swanyi took out his mobile phone and looked at a series of challenge messages on the Elf Battle app. He couldn't help but shook his head. Come one by one and see how I teach you a lesson, Dad. Several freshmen sitting behind Cai Swanyi saw leader Cai pick up his cell phone and prepare to kill everyone. They stood up and came over to take a look. His eyes were full of envy. Ah, they want to play too. With Cai Swanyi's full cooperation, Yang Yu felt a little relieved. It can be said that Yang Yu's dream plan was initially successful. In addition to the power of wave guides and wave missiles, Lucario may also have the hidden characteristics of Heart of Justice. When facing the power of evil, Lucario is attacked by the moves of evil power, so the trigger of Heart of Justice will increase Lucario's attack ability. There will be a full moon during the national competition. This time, let the little dream demon communicate with the mini dragon about the dream of going to the reverse world. The full moon represents a sweet dream, so there shouldn't be any problems. In short, it's better to be careful. At this time, Yang Yu had arrived in the sky above the Hangcheng TV University arena. Under the night, he opened his backpack and looked at the mini dragon curled up in the backpack, sleeping and drooling in his sleep. He smiled and shook his head. The faint moonlight passed through the gap in the backpack and fell on the big white nose of the mini dragon, giving it an indescribable sense of tranquility. The little dream demon has entered the dreamland of the mini dragon. This kind of operation is already very familiar to the little dream demon. In the dreamland, the mini dragon is not surprised by the appearance of the little dream monster. It even waits for the little dream monster to come to its dream every night. Because the little dream demon can draw many things in the dream that the mini dragon has never eaten, and these things are all things that the mini dragon cannot imagine. After all, in the mini dragon's dream world, in addition to the endless candy paradise, energy cube warehouse, and ice cream mountain, there are also the Moo Milk River and the coconut juice lake that I drank before. Even the land is made of chocolate. Although the mini dragons can never get tired of eating them, when the little dream demon saw the mini dragon dream for the first time, the mini dragons were like little moths in the world. They ate and ate and ate in this world, and even the little dream demon couldn't find them. I couldn't find the mini dragon until I saw some milk splashing in the Moo Milk River. Then the little dream demon saw that the mini dragon was lying in the Moo Milk River. In the dream world of the mini dragon, there is another very wonderful place where the sky is filled with colorful aurora. Sometimes, the mini dragon will stay in this colorful aurora and see the impression of meanness deep in his mind. The mini dragon can stand here for several days. Even if you can hear the sound of stomach growling in the dream, the mini dragon has not had a bite of food in the dream. Later, the little dream demon helped to feed her one bite at a time. Feeding the mini dragon in a dream. It seems that the little dream demon itself didn't realize that it had begun to truly have a big sister demeanor. The door to dreams that connects the reverse world. The little dream demon will definitely help open it. Although I don't know how difficult it will be, if you don't do it, how can you succeed? Q. Mimiki Q came out of the elf ball hanging on the little dream monster's chest. He tilted his head. Under the Mimikyu rags, the real body of Mimikyu had already begun to eat the chocolate on the ground in the dream. Sneaky. Q. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Shao. Chapter 782. Senior Yang Yu. It's Senior Yang Yu, come on, hurry up, everyone, gather together quickly, don't leave a bad impression on Senior Yang Yu. This year's team leader. Hold on to your thighs, this is a stepping stone to enter the school's elite league. The next president and vice president of the school elite alliance will both be classmates in the dormitory of Senior Yang Yu. Dormitory 403 is so scary. Excuse me, why wasn't I assigned 403? Actually, I am also from 403. Your 403 is not the 403 dormitory where Senior Yang Yu lives. Amid the bustling gathering, all the Hangzhou Dian trainers who were going to the national competition this time were already in place. Yang Yu, you didn't even say a word when you came back last night. The sudden opening of the bedroom door this late at night didn't scare us both to death. Dark circles under my eyes. Today's dark circles are too heavy. I'm going to have to kneel down in the forest team competition. Wenren Fangchen and Hong Kun were complaining next to Yang Yu, but they were naturally answered by Yang Yu's eyes. When these two guys took Yang Yu to Degenerate Street for a barbecue supper last night, weren't they still in high spirits, and now they blamed him for Yang Yu's arrival? Didn't I already compensate you this morning? 50 pills per person. If you have too many, it will be inconvenient to store. I will give them to your elves who are preparing to learn electric moves. It can help speed up the learning of electric moves, Yang Yu said angrily. Said. No, let's hug our thighs first. Yeah, big thighs. Yang Yu glanced at the time and saw that it was almost time to set off. Everyone in each grade had arrived. National competition, target, Pearl Forest, let's set off. Outside the bus, groups of students saw off the trainers. This was the busiest time in history. At this time, a beautiful arc of cream and blue was drawn in the sky, leaving an ethereal sound of farewell in this piece of heaven and earth. Yi. It's Minas. Bye Minas. Goodbye, Senior Yang Yu, goodbye, Professor Yang Yu. You must work hard, we are the hope of the whole village. The Pearl Forest is bustling with activity. There are still many elves competing for beauty in the sky. This is not only the exchange of outstanding trainers from all over the world, but also a great opportunity for the exchange of elves among trainers. Destined to meet each other thousands of miles away, if you are lucky and find a partner for the elf, or even the trainer himself, that would be great. Of course, this will happen after the national competition. The results in the national competition will affect whether the school can obtain excellent elf resources, including the opportunity to enter the top elf secret realm. Yang Yu, the individual champion of last year's national competition, brought back a mini-elf from the East China Sea Dragon Palace secret realm. Dragon, even now it has been spread. Yang Yu's mini-dragon has mastered 3 impossible moves. Jet flames, freezing rays, and 100,000 volts. Whether it is the contestants who come here to compete, or the teachers and student leaders who lead the team, they all pay attention to the direction of the road. They are all waiting for that person to arrive. The trainer who shined with legendary glory in the national competition, Yang Yu. Buses entered the dedicated large parking lot in an orderly manner. In the parking lot, there was a faint signboard with the words vigorously construction, trustworthy. When a graceful figure that almost all trainers would dream about appeared in the sky far away from the road, the hearts of these contestants, as well as the team teachers and student leaders, suddenly sank. He came. Yi. This beautiful sound coming from afar made the noisy sky quiet for a while. These elves show off their figures and charms in the sky outside the Pearl Forest. Among the insect-type elves, the hunting swallowtail is famous for its beauty and cuteness. Among the dragon-type elves, the light and elegant Chinese Valentine's Day bluebird is used. The fire and flying-type elves are known for their explosive flames. The charming fire-breathing dragon, and even the noble incarnation of the Harker dragon in the Hangzhou Elf University camp, all dimmed in an instant. The elf ball of the salted fish king next to Yang Yu could no longer be restrained. The crazy flashing light made Yang Yu's scalp numb just looking at it. If he got out in the bus, would he go straight to heaven? Dadu, the salted fish king is left to you. Yeah. Duday, who was sitting in the front row with Yang Yu, was holding a salty pokeball, and his figure flashed from the bus to the sky. The dull golden conch cap is shining impressively under the warm spring sun. Yang Yu's dumb king. It's King Dede. Wait, what are you doing? The thing in King Dede's hand seems familiar. Don't, Yang Yu, Don't let Gyarados go. Minas is enough, that giant Gyarados can't stand it at all. Roar. The elf ball shines. The majestic and huge body of the salted fish king blocked the beauty in an instant. This way, you won't be able to see it. Yee. The beautiful girl poked her head out from the left. The salted fish king tilted his neck and blocked it. Such a scene made the frightened contestants, who were staring outside the pearl forest, breathe a sigh of relief and at the same time, even feel a little funny. But, looking at this, some people's mood is a bit off. Because, look, that person looks like a dog. I originally thought this was a scene to watch menus, but when I saw Minas and Gyarados showing off their affection in public, the dog food scattered all over the sky confused the trainers like them. Is this still something humans do? Wow, my mentality is broken. However, more trainers are still full of envy in their eyes. The powerful Gyarados, the powerful Minas, and the powerful Slowking. Last year's national competition champion Yang Yu, was simply not a human being. The show has passed, which itself is a carnival place for trainers. When the organizer Hangzhou Elf University announced the start of the national competition, all the trainers, amid the ups and downs of inspiration, took firm steps towards walk to the entrance of Pearl Forest. It's really unexpected. Yes, Sister Yukian, this time last year, Yang Yuk was still an elite trainer. The progress is too fast, but you are also making rapid progress. After Hakran masters 100,000 volts, it will be very effective in the national competition. Yeah, Sister Yukian, please do your best too. Before entering the Pearl Forest, Wang Yukian and Xiaoyu looked back at the camp belonging to Hangcheng TV University, feeling filled with emotion and relieved at the same time. Fortunately, we don't have to meet this perverted trainer this year. The happiest thing about Yang Yu becoming a professor is actually the Elf Alliance and these freshmen to senior students. In this way, Yang Yu is equivalent to not participating in the national competition. Otherwise, the students in the same class as Yang Yu the trainer is really miserable, but it's okay. Fortunately, Yang Yu became a professor. To understand the power of waveguides, you must first know that in fact, every person and every living thing can produce waveguides, but basically, the power of waveguides produced by human trainers in this world is very weak, but being weak does not mean that it is not possible. Exist. The power of waveguide is the same power as Gardevoir's telepathy. It can be used for mind reading. However, the power of waveguide is more widely used than telepathy. It can sense the environment and see through objects. This is a spiritual power. Because of this, Lucario's waveguide power can feel the thoughts of human trainers and feel the existence of all things. In the Elf Alliance, the explanation of the power of waveguide is very similar to the mental power of superpower elves, but it is at a higher level than mental power because although mental power can feel everything, it cannot feel everything. The emotions contained in it. At this time, Cai Soigny's Lucario was with Dede. Lucario was using the power of the waveguide, and Dede was using his mental power, and they were communicating friendly with each other. Lao Cai, have you ever tried to communicate with Lucario before, that is, without communicating with words, simply closing your eyes and communicating with Lucario's waveguide power with your heart? No, this sounds a bit like Taoism, the kind of saying that Tao follows nature. Cai Soigny shook his head, but after getting along with elves for a long time, some things can indeed be revealed through a look or actions let the elves understand, but there are some things that elves can understand about us, but we may misunderstand what the elves are thinking, so we have to ask them in words over and over again until the elves nod to confirm. Yang Yu strongly agreed with Cai Soigny's words. Elves can indeed understand the thoughts of human trainers easily, but human trainers still need the assistance of language to ensure that they do not misunderstand the thoughts of elves. But at this point, Yang Yu can do it. When he was choosing the elf eggs, Yang Yu could feel the thoughts of the elves who were still in the elf egg period. Now, without using words, he can basically understand the thoughts of the salted fish king, Dede, and Great Beauty. In fact, every trainer can do it. After spending time with the elves for a long time, the feelings and bonds will gradually deepen, and you will naturally understand. Now, Lucario is Cai Soigne's elf. If Yang Yu wants to feel and understand, he needs Lucario's absolute trust. Just like Jigglypuff who taught Yang Yu to sing, his dull characteristic is regeneration. However, it was much simpler than Yang Yu imagined. Heart of Justice. Lucario will have great trust in the trainer who is full of justice, not to mention, Lucario actually knows Yang Yu. The sensory feedback of the power of the waveguide is unmistakable. During the Elven Egg period. Power of waveguide. Yang Yu's pupils couldn't help but shrink. It's that simple. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 783. Yang Yu actually fell into a misunderstanding about the power of wave missile. Because he paid too much attention to the wave missile move, he still feels a little weird now. The surprise came too suddenly. It seems like you succeeded without much effort. Could it be that, pie is really falling from the sky? What's wrong, Professor Yang? Is there something wrong? Cai Soigne looked at the stunned Yang Yu and couldn't help but ask. There's nothing wrong, it's just a little strange. Yang Yu closed his eyes and felt the fluctuation carefully. Power of waveguide. This is a kind of spiritual energy that allows you to feel the emotions of elves and express your inner thoughts. Note, hazards can be detected. Wonderful. Professor Yang, are you talking about Lucario's waveguide power? It seems like this, as if Lucario can feel it in his heart. It is indeed very magical. Cai Soigne relaxed slightly. Cai Soigne has clearly experienced this feeling twice. The first time was the day Riolu emerged from the elf egg, and the remaining time was when Riolu evolved into Lucario. In fact, even without the influence of the power of the waveguide, Cai Soigne would be happy that Riolu broke out of his shell, and would be excited and happy about Riolu's evolution. The power of waveguide is reflected in ordinary life. Just because Lucario could condense the power of this kind of mind and bombard it with wave missile moves. The power of the moves was so huge that Yang Yu thought it was very difficult to master. In the end, it caused a huge misunderstanding. In other words, it is easy to master the power of waveguide. Everyone has a weak power of waveguide. In the elf world, all creatures have more or less weak power of waveguide. But if you want to condense this weak power of waveguide, forming a move wave missile, this is very difficult. Moreover, the older the trainer and the longer he has been with the elves, the more powerful the waveguide will be than the younger trainer. This is the accumulation of time. That's it, that's it. Yang Yu wanted to understand and figured it out. At this moment, during the friendly exchange with Yang Yu, part of Lucario's excess waveguide power was transmitted and sent to Yang Yu. Just think of it as a friendly greeting. When Yang Yu's feelings for the elf became clearer and clearer, the dull eyes beside him blinked. Yeah. Dede seemed to feel a little change in Yang Yu. Dumb. Yang Yu closed his eyes, and in his mind, he seemed to feel a little bit of Dede's thoughts. Dede was now full of curiosity about his situation. A bit like Yang Yu Xiao, evolved. Yang Yu now has only a little more waveguide power than ordinary people, and it is almost saturated. It is definitely impossible to use waveguide missiles. The gap between Yang Yu and the super newbies is basically incomparable. Although exercise can keep the cells of the body in an active state, human trainers can make their bodies softer by practicing yoga, and going to the gym to strengthen their muscles can make them softer. Become stronger. But no matter how hard he trained, Yang Yu could never compare with Male in terms of body flexibility, nor could he compare with Salted Fish King in terms of body defense and attack destructive power. There is an upper limit here. At this time, the waveguide power possessed by Yang Yu happened to have reached this upper limit. The upper limit that human trainers can reach. You can easily communicate with elves, be aware of the surrounding environment, and detect dangers. This range will not be very large, but it is still very helpful. Lucario was very happy because this was the first trainer to communicate with it using the power of waveguide. His master's current waveguide power is still a little weak. Lucario is currently working hard to conduct the excess waveguide power to his master Cai Soigny, but it seems. In this aspect, my master seems to have no talent. Isn't it? When it just came out of the elf egg, during the Ryalu period, it transmitted the power of the waveguide to its owner once, but nothing happened. He evolved from Ryalu to Lucario, and also transmitted once, but still nothing happened. These two major events belonging to Lucario are the periods that can best help him and his trainer build a bridge of communication with the power of waveguide, but the master is not strong enough. Ha 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 ha, I won't say, I won't say, I won't say. Yang Yu suddenly burst into laughter in the camp, filling Cai Soigny's mind with questions. Looking at Lucario's panic, Cai Soigny looked confused. What is so funny? Lao Cai, I think I know how to help you solve the problem of excess Lucario waveguide power. Yang Yu stopped smiling, and now he said in a very serious tone. Really? Cai Soigny's eyes lit up. This is good news. Professor Yang is indeed Professor Yang, and he has suddenly found a way to solve the excess power of Lucario's waveguide. You have to be nice to Lucario. It's worried about you as a trainer. Yang Yuqiang suppressed a smile. After all, he could use the power of the waveguide to learn about Lucario's experience. The story is both distressing for Lucario and a little funny at the same time. Falling flowers are intentional, flowing water is ruthless. Lucario was eager to build a bridge of waveguide power with his master Cai Soigny, but Cai Soigny himself refused. In the end, the waveguide power was too much and could not be transmitted. Although I don't know how Lao Cai did it, it's so funny. The plug-in had already been delivered to his doorstep, but Lao Cai didn't want it himself and sent the plug-in back. The real reason why Lucario's waveguide power was excessive in the end, it turned out to be because of this. Every morning, work out with Lucario. How does Lucario usually train his physical strength? You should also train with this one. Then you will know what is going on. Yang Yu said the solution at that time. It was really hard to hold it in. When Lucario was in Ryalu, he just wanted Cai Soigny to exercise with him. As a result, Cai Soigny thought that Ryalu wanted to supervise its exercise, which led to a series of mistakes. Only when the elves and trainers are in sync, can the power of the waveguide be safely transmitted to Cai Soigny's side, especially for the first time. As for Yang Yu's side, since there was a slight transmission during the Ryalu elf egg period, this communication bridge can be easily connected, and the transmission of the power of the waveguide is much simpler. Is this Professor Yang's solution? Seeing Cai Soigny's dumbfounded look, Yang Yu naturally knew that he must have suspicions, so he patted Lao Cai on the shoulder and said with a pun, "Some things are so simple, they actually appear on the surface, but none of us noticed. It's just that sometimes the more ordinary places are, the harder they are to find, because it's just in life. Professor Yang, there is something behind your words." Cai Soigny discovered this directly, but he still had no clue and was just doubtful. Yang Yu didn't say much. Some things just need to be seen and recognized by oneself in order to understand the magic of the elf world. The power of the waveguide is related to the bond between the trainer and the elves. It is a spiritual power. Lucario will affect his sense of justice to the trainer and his elf companions. Similarly, if the trainer also has a sense of justice in his heart, then this will be fed back to Lucario, who has the power of waveguide. Obviously, this goes hand in hand. Perhaps it was Yang Yu's words that made Dede feel something. Sometimes, when facing ordinary things and nature, it is true that the simpler things are, the harder it is to discover them. Dede has a strong mental power, which is a kind of innate ability possessed by the superpower elf itself. However, under the strong mental power, what about the hidden power of wave guide? Yeah. Dada fell into meditation. The power of wave guide is based on mental power and is more advanced than mental power, because the power of wave guide contains the vitality of life itself. Master Lao Hu De once taught that when you put down all your superpowers and then look at this elven world, you will find that the world in your eyes is different. This should also contain the most powerful spiritual power among super-type elves? Yeah. At this moment, with his eyes closed tightly, all his mental power was withdrawn. Everything seemed to have fallen into darkness. No superpowers, no psychic powers. When I closed my eyes blankly, I couldn't feel anything around me, as if I was the only one left in the whole world. What kind of life is oneself? Dede was surprised to find that after losing his superpower and mental power, there was still an energy in his world that was ready to move. This is the life force that belongs to you. This is the life force with the characteristics of regeneration. When all the superpowers and all the mental power are removed, these originally peaceful things can no longer be calm, and will even be destroyed. Neglected life energy. From this moment on, it starts to boil. Senior Tu Taigi once taught that when the power of nature is integrated into one's own superpower, an unknown door will be opened. Everything will suddenly become clear. What kind of power can be called the power of nature? Is it the water power in the ocean, the grass power in the forest, or the fire power in the sun? None of these. The power of life is the power of nature. Respect life and nature. Meteor forest, meteor lake. Spring is here, the ice and snow are melting. From time to time, the figure of Magi-Carp will pop out of the lake. It's a peaceful afternoon. Squeak. By the quiet lake, there was a somewhat harsh sound of the wooden door being opened. Lao Hudi's figure walked out of the door. Lao Hu slowly floated to the big rock by the lake. This was his disciple Dada's favorite place to stay. Whether it is Slowman before evolving or Slow King after evolving. Here, whether you are fishing with your tail or in a daze. It seems like the day goes by so quickly. At this time, Lao Hudi was sitting on this big stone, his eyes falling on the calm water. Gradually, on the water in front of him, it seemed that he could see a naive pink figure. Who did dash? Lao Hu held his huge beard in relief, his eyes full of admiration. If you figure it out, then take that step. At this moment, Hu De closed his eyes. Spring is full of vitality. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Shao. Chapter 784. Yang Yu and Cai Xuanyi carefully left the camp, leaving the space for Dude. The power of the wave guide obtained by Yang Yu can be vaguely felt. An extremely huge power is brewing in Dede's body. It is not the power of the water system, nor the power of the super energy system. This power has its own name, the force of life. King Dudu, are you comprehending something? Cai Xuanyi could only see this much now. What's a little strange to Cai Xuanyi is that King Slow doesn't seem to be using meditation techniques. The lavender superpower doesn't have any meaning of radiating out. It feels like it's just sleeping. Quiet and quiet, as if you are in your own world. At this time, Cai Xuanyi's vision and level did not reach Yang Yu's level. The level above the gym, especially the level close to the Heavenly King, is a bit too high for the current Cai Xuanyi. A guess has arisen in Yang Yu's heart. At this time, he is extremely excited, but Yang Yu must force himself to calm down. The more critical the situation is, the more silent one should remain until the moment he succeeds. Leave everything to Dudu. Yang Yu silently remembered what he said to Cai Xuanyi not long ago. Maybe it was that sentence that touched Dudu. Some things are harder to find the more ordinary they are. This is actually how Yang Yu feels about the power of wave guides. Dada did not use superpowers or use meditation to improve his mental power. Instead, he realized and mobilized his own life force. Is this the key to Dada stepping from the gym level to the king level? Yang Yu murmured softly. After Cai Xuanyi said goodbye to Yang Yu with Lucario, he followed Yang Yu's advice and started running and exercising with Lucario on the edge of the meteor forest. Yang Yu looked at Cai Xuanyi and Lucario's retreating figures and felt something in his heart. He turned around, looked in the direction of his camp, and moved a stool with an armrest from next door. I sat down under the spring sunshine. Put on your sunglasses and stay outside the camp with peace of mind. At this time, the little dream monster and Tijipai also gradually became quiet, for fear of disturbing the incomprehensible people in the camp. Many Dragon waited even more seriously. Just getting out of Yang Yu's backpack, Many Dragon found that there was almost no food in the backpack. The pockets on Yang Yu's body couldn't hold much inventory, so whenever Data comes out, the Mini Dragon will have enough to eat, so in order for the Mini Dragon to have enough to eat, Data must come out as soon as possible. In this vast sky, Xianyuking and De Meili saw Yang Yu's beckoning call from the land. From the sky, Xianyuking and De Meili slowly came to the Hangcheng TV University camp, and found that Dudu was not there at Yang Yu's side. By your side. When Yang Yu used the power of the wave guide to communicate with the Salted Fish King and De Meili, Dada was inside to realize himself. The Salted Fish King stretched his neck forward, lowered his head, and stared in Yang Yu's direction with very unbelievable eyes. Salted Fish King, oh. Look to the left, look to the right. In order to distinguish the authenticity, the Salted Fish King specially made gestures in front of Yang Yu with his beard, and then sniffed with his two big nostrils to confirm that this was his master Yang Yu. Finally came to a conclusion. Yang Yu Shao, evolved. Okay, I'm Yang Yu, why are you looking at me like this? Yang Yu really couldn't stand such enthusiastic scrutiny from the Salted Fish King. The Salted Fish King felt very incredible. How long had he and De Meili just been out, and Yang Yu Shao actually mastered this ability? The greatest help that the power of the wave guide can bring to Yang Yu is actually to have better spiritual communication with his own elves, and even to look at the elven world from the perspective of the elves. Yi. De Meili was actually very happy that Yang Yu could master such an ability. After all, with the power of wave guide, De Meili could complain to Yang Yu that Yang Yu's dance was so fragmentary. Seemingly understanding what De Meili meant, Salted Fish King also came forward and expressed his strong indignation at the messy out-of-tune melody that Yang Yu sang. The smile on Yang Yu's face just disappeared. Why is it a mistake after mastering the power of wave guide? I won't listen, I won't listen. Yang Yu quickly stopped the power of the wave guide. This thing really can't be used indiscriminately. It's good for De Meili. After all, De Meili is so beautiful. You can't use it on the Salted Fish King. Yang Yu could already predict that if the power of the wave guide was to communicate with the Salted Fish King again, then the Salted Fish King would definitely start to compare the Salted Fish King's own singing level with Yang Yu's singing level. Is this really comparable? Yang Yu gestured in the direction of Dudu. He didn't want to get into a fight with the Salted Fish King. After all, Yang Yu's voice was not as loud as the Salted Fish King. He couldn't argue or fight. It is said that Yang Yu had noisy and beaten Guaguapeo Frog, but he didn't bring it over to Yanjing. Now that I think about it, it's a pity. After Yang Yu mastered the power of the wave guide, Gwagwapeo Frog would be able to understand his painstaking efforts. After seeing Yang Yu's signal, the Salted Fish King's expression became unusually serious. Each school's camp can accommodate nearly 50 students. After these players enter the Pearl Forest, the camp will be much empty, and the camp will not be particularly crowded when the Salted Fish King appears. It's just more intimidating to SKR people. Especially in the camps adjacent to Hangcheng TV University, if the teachers and student leaders here walked out directly without any precautions, the huge body of the Salted Fish King would cast a shadow in the sunlight, like a giant beast. The terrifying pressure may be enough to scare you to death. It's okay to take a look at it from a distance before coming here. Once you get closer, you'll see that big bloody mouth with ferocious fangs. I'm sorry to bother you, but I can't stand it at all. However, at this time, the Salted Fish King used his huge body to surround the camp tent where Dai Dai was, forming a huge circle, tightly protecting Dai Dai in the center, who was still comprehending. De Mali was no exception. She also stopped at this place, following the Salted Fish King, waiting for Dada to wake up from the realization. A very incredible scene occurred in the camp of Hangcheng TV University. In everyone's impression, the notoriously violent Gyarados, who often caused big things in the news, caused tsunamis at every turn, or crashed into small islands from time to time, actually had such a calm and peaceful side. Is this still the terrifying Gyarados that Yang Yu used in his battle with the king of Sakura Kingdom? Here, I am afraid that only Wu Yuqian, the team leader from Northwest Elf University, can understand a little bit. However, what can be understood is not everything. Yang Yu pulled the stool to the side of the Salted Fish King's head. Since he had to wait, naturally everyone waited together, waiting for the tent in the camp to wake up in a daze. Junior brother Han. Senior brother Jian. Wu Yuqian rushed over from the Northwest Elf University camp and saw the figure among the elves missing the pink silhouette of King Dude, plus Yang Yu's Salted Fish King guarding the camp tent in the center. Then there is no doubt that King Slow is among them. Inside here. A little bit of enlightenment. After Day wakes up from the enlightenment, we will have a meal at night, Yang Yu chuckled softly. Wu Yuqian nodded, his eyes fell on the large circle of Salted Fish Kings outside, and he couldn't help but sigh. There must be many, many stories here, right? Yes, there are many, 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 many. No matter how much I say, I can't finish them. I can't say enough. Yang Yu nodded. Maybe the Salted Fish King can't pick up Dudu like the Salted Fish King once did when he was the Carp King, but now, the Salted Fish King can form a circle with his body to take care of Dudu. This is a forbidden area. Night has fallen. Yang Yu and his elves have been guarding the camp here all afternoon. During this period, trainers came one after another out of curiosity, but they left without waiting for long. There isn't much to see. If you are exposed to the sun like this, although it is not very hot in spring, if you are exposed to too much sun, you will still sweat a lot. Fortunately, Wu Yuqian asked Tropical Dragon and Geranium to use grass-type moves to build a green shed. Under this green shed, Wu Yuqian and Yang Yu kept waiting. Only senior brother Jian would continue to wait like this. This is a long process in itself. That insight in the secret realm of the Sky City gave Wu Yuqian a lot of help to the dream-inducing taper. It was like opening up a new sky, allowing the dream-inducing taper to have a deeper understanding of the nature of the elven world. Understanding. This is the first glimpse into the secrets of nature. Some things are worth waiting for an answer, waiting for a possibility in the future. The camp resident teacher who came with Yang Yu in the camp was waiting boredly. The points for the first day had not yet been settled. Staying here is idle anyway, so why not take a closer look at the beautiful scenery? Nas, it would be nice to daydream or something. Meteor Forest. In the lake, there are stars. The night at Meteor Lake is the most essential and beautiful place in the entire Meteor Forest. The night is like water, and occasionally you can hear the splashing sound of magi carp. The night wind blew calmly, with only a little ripple in the water. On that rock by the lake, Lao Hudi had been meditating quietly for a long time. Motionless, he seemed to be waiting for something. Tick-tock. The first drop of rain falling from the sky fell into the lake. Then, gradually, more and more raindrops fell, awakening almost all the carp kings in this calm lake. This is the leap of life. At this moment, Lao Hudi opened his eyes. Huti. Lao Hudi, the wait is here. Outside the pearl forest, under the quiet night sky, suddenly, in a camp, with it as the center, a gentle breeze naturally spread to the surroundings, rustling and blowing. Among the leaves of the pearl forest. Roar, the salted fish king's pupils suddenly shrank. In the center of the circle formed by the body of the salted fish king, on top of the dull golden conch cap, a bright pearl shines with brilliance. Heaven, King of Heaven. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 785. On the dull golden conch cap, the red orb directly in front exudes a bright brilliance, like a shining pearl in the dark night, covering the whole body of the dull one. This is a very soft feeling. It's like blending into nature. Together with the night sky, the evening breeze, and the living colors of the pearl forest, it forms a beautiful picture. This peaceful advancement, this feeling of moving with ordinary strength, every move, every breath, is otherworldly. If you understand, then cross this threshold. There was no need for any earth-shattering promotion changes or any energy fluctuations like the ocean tide. The door to the Heavenly King naturally and proactively opened for Dede. There is no threshold for the quasi-King of Heaven, because with this step, Dede crosses the door of the King of Heaven more easily. Even the threshold of the King of Heaven cannot stop Dede, and he has to open the door for Dede himself. What's more, what about the quasi-King? After understanding it, I set foot on it. It's that simple. What happened over there? Who hung a satellite in the sky and it's still so bright? The wind was blowing in my face just now, I felt so comfortable. That direction must be towards Hangzhou Dian. It's Professor Yang Yu, what tricks are you playing? In the afternoon, that giant Gyarados surrounded the camp tent. Is there any connection with this incident? I don't know, but a night like this is indeed very beautiful. We are now in the pearl forest, and the scene gradually forming in the sky looks like a pearl. Are you training some moves? But in my impression, only the flash technique looks like this. It can't be the flash technique, haha. Most of the team leaders and student leaders may not be able to match gym level strength, so how do they understand? Is this the King of Heaven? Look, that huge black shadow, is Yang Yu's giant Gyarados. Manus has also taken off, and the one in the white light should be Yang Yu's dumb king. At this moment, around the light that enveloped the dumb body like a pearl in the sky, the salted fish king soared into the sky. Along with the salted fish king, there was also that beautiful figure. With Dede's bright pearl as the center, it is flying and rotating in the air, expressing the immense joy in Dede's heart for the huge promotion of his strength. When the salted fish king was little, I hugged him in his arms. When Male was little, I also hugged Dada. At this moment, salted fish king and great beauty, how could they not be excited? Just dumbly still bathed in the light of this pearl, waiting. In the light, Dede felt a very wonderful state, which he had never been able to feel before. It was a feeling of vitality, as if he was integrated into nature, as if he could interact with everything around him, all have connections. The power of wave guide. This is the effect of spiritual power that contains the power of life. On the basis of spiritual power, one can feel nature and the emotions of life in it. Dada opened his eyes. Saw the light outside, salty and great beauty. He saw Yang Yu and Wu Yuqin who stood up and looked up at him on the ground, as well as Little Dream Demon, Tijipai, Mini Dragon, Mimikyu, Frost Milk Fairy, and the one standing on the ground with his head held high. Boomstick and a Regirock in the form of Rumble Rock. Yeah. Dada scratched his head. Why did it come tonight all of a sudden? Yang Yu and the others must be hungry already. Then. Done, go cook. When Dede stretched out his hand and opened a gap in the circle of light, in an instant, the light of the pearl shone in all directions. Little by little, the brilliance turned into stars, heading towards the pearl forest, towards the camp, towards, further and further away. Every firefly-like light spot seems to be a small intelligent life, gradually spreading and spreading with the wind. Heaven, King of Heaven. At this moment, almost at the same time, several extremely loud sounds of shock rang out from all over the camp. All the camps in the national competition almost instantly fell silent from the lively discussion. The next moment, the sound of discussion started again. King of Heaven, what King of Heaven? Which heavenly king has come to Pearl Forest? Is it the dragon messenger? King of Heaven, where are you? This year's national competition, the king is here, what an honor it is. When the silent camp began to boil again, they subconsciously ignored the beautiful night sky with scattered stars, and instead looked for the shadow of the famous domestic king in the sky. Which king is it? However, when they discovered that not only the shadow of the King of Heaven was missing, but also the figures of Gyarados and Minas in the sky were missing, and even the bright pearl at night had dissipated. King of Heaven? Who is making this joke? Can such a joke be made casually? Congratulations to Professor Yang Yu Slow King, for being promoted to the king-level elf. When the same sound as before sounded again in the Pearl Forest camp of Hangzhou Elf University, the boiling camp became silent for an instant. King of Heaven? What, King? Professor Yang Yu's elf, the King of Slowness has been promoted to the level of King of Heaven? What an international joke. Is it easy for the King of Heaven to be promoted? There are so many long-established gym-level trainers in the country, and there are so many gym leaders. It has been so many years, but the strength of the elf has not been promoted to the king level. Could it be that the foundation he has accumulated over the years is not as good as that of a young man? Trainer Yang Yu. How long has it been since Yang Yu defeated his first water gym? This is only about half a year? Professor Yang Yu's dumb king was promoted to the king level elf? How can this be? Especially the teacher who was discussing the flash technique before, and even later shared his experience of learning the flash technique and its use in life, everyone was dumbfounded for a moment. What a bummer. Is this true or false? If it is true, did he just use the flash technique to counteract the light emitted by the king-level elf just now? Isn't this a piece of shit? Most people's minds have not turned around for a while. After all, the king level is too far away for them. What is the King of Heaven? They don't know. Just being a gym level trainer can only look up to most of the teachers, let alone the king who is even higher than the gym level trainer. All the resident personnel at the Yanjing Elf University camp have been dispatched. The same goes for Qingjing Elf University. The traffic in the Magic City and the hatching eggs are basically gone. Just now, was it true? At Shonan Elf University, Fang Tian, this year's student team leader stationed in the camp, was already slumped in his chair, with a lot of disbelief in his eyes. If Yang Yu were here, he might have some impressions of Fang Tian. When the first sky battle of the forest team competition was held in the Meteor Forest, Hangcheng TV University was competing against the Xiongnan Elf University led by Fang Tian. In that battle, in the Meteor Forest, the Salted Fish King led the remaining 6 Gyarados, and even rebelled one from Hangzhou Luo Feng. As soon as that scene appeared, the Shonan Spirit University was completely confused. How long has it been since? Fang Tian felt miserable because he became the leader of the camp and was confused again. This horse, This is simply not a human being. Fang Tian finally shouted out the wishes of countless trainers. At this moment, Xianxian and Damalai had already arrived on the ground from the night sky. Ordinary, this is just dumbfounded. In fact, Dede can stay in the air for a while longer, but thinking about Yang Yu and the others, they must be waiting impatiently on the ground, and dinner has not been cooked for them yet, so naturally the sooner they go back, the better. Congratulations. The induction bridge formed between Yang Yu's waveguide power and Dede. You can feel the changes in Dede more clearly, but no matter how you change, Dede is still the same Dede. If you are walking on the road, you will still be the same. Take your time, take your time. Yeah. Dada smiled naively, opened his arms, and hugged Yang Yu with a solid and reliable embrace. After patting Yang Yu's shoulder gently, he said, Dada, he is still the reliable Dada, worth it? Trusting dullness. Poppy. Blinking his eyes blankly, he looked at the little dream demon Antijopai, as well as Mimikyu and the frost milk fairy beside them. He stretched out his hand and waved lightly towards the stars that were still floating in the night sky. Soon, these firefly-like stars are like being put into a fairy ball. Mysterious and beautiful. Everyone has it, everyone has it. Hey, the mini dragon wrapped around Dudu's thigh. The mini dragon wanted to eat. Poor, helpless, the hungry dragon roars. Yeah. Next, just leave it to Dudu. Put on the chef's hat blankly, move it, put it straight, put on the chef's white coat, button it up, hold the pot in the left hand, and hold the spatula in the right hand. When it comes to cooking for Yang Yu and everyone, the speed is not as leisurely as usual walking, but absolutely fast. The pots and spatulas are already in place. Let's stir fry. I can't tell at all, this is a king level elf. If it hadn't reached the gym level, if my big eagle and giant claw mantis hadn't evolved to mega, they could reach the power of the king. Junior brother Han, you have refreshed my worldview again. Wu Yuqian felt that he had become accustomed to it. In fact, Wu Yuqian had already had such a premonition when he encountered the giant mountain turtle in the secret realm of Sky City. It is only a matter of time before Dede is promoted to the heavenly king level. Now it seems that it is still somewhat beyond Wu Yuqian's expectations. When a large number of resident teachers arrived at the camp at Hangdian. Congratulations to Professor Yang for being promoted to the heavenly king. The sound stopped suddenly. What did they see? Damn it! King Dudu, are you cooking? Dear friends, are you okay? Yang Yu coughed lightly. With such a large-scale mobilization, people who didn't know it would have thought they were just here for a meal. Yang Yu couldn't afford to entertain so many people. Isn't it? There are hundreds of elf universities across the country, and there are hundreds or even thousands of teachers and team leaders stationed in the camps. This Professor Yang, the king-level dumb king, was there, cooking. Yeah, stay here and make dinner. Why does the extremely calm tone make people feel like something is wrong when they hear it? Professor Yang, please pretend to be cool. Such great news has to be expressed. Why should it be exaggerated? Ordinary, how is this possible? Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 786. Thank you everyone, thank you everyone. We have been waiting for so long today and we haven't had dinner yet. The camp is too small, so everyone should disperse. In addition to senior brother Qian, Lao Wan, and Lao Cai were also in Yang Yu's camp. Everyone who can share this stupidly happy dinner with Yang Yu is already here. By the way, we also need to add a fellow Hangzhou Dian teacher Guo Peng. Yang Yu started to have a headache when he saw so many people gathered outside. Don't think about it, this news has probably been spread a long time ago. When Dada is promoted to the king level, some old trainers will always find out. Hangzhou Elf University, as the organizer of this national competition, naturally has gym-level teachers here, not to mention people from the Elf Alliance. Keep it low-key, is it so difficult? Yang Yu originally wanted to teach peacefully for a semester as a professor at Yanjing Elf University, make a fortune in silence, and teach a few better students. In short, he just wanted to keep a low profile. There has been news about him for more than half a year, and the popularity remains high, which is not a good thing. It seems like it's a bit unstoppable again. Forget it, if you can't stop it, you can't stop it. This time, Dade's strength has been improved. With his own strong mental power, coupled with the strong vitality of Dade's regeneration characteristic, the two are constantly improving. Dade's control over the power of the wave guide. This brings Yang Yu's dream plan a big step forward. Everyone, that's it for today. Thank you all. If there's anything else, let's talk about it tomorrow. Dragon Messenger King Xia has sent me a message. As expected, when Yang Yu said this, everyone understood it. With such an important matter, how could the Dragon Messenger not find Yang Yu? Professor Yang, then I will withdraw first. Professor Yang, congratulations. Finally got the person away. But Yang Yu was not wrong, because there were already 99 plus messages in Yang Yu's mobile phone, as well as missed calls. No wonder Brother Xia prefers to live in the old house, and his usual job is as an ordinary old employee in a company, it's more relaxed and free. But then again, Brother Xia probably didn't buy this company himself, right? Otherwise, there is still a company that can hire the Huaquilong envoy. Yang Yu couldn't help but think about it and smiled. Such days are actually not bad, but Yang Yu is just a little envious. Yang Yu is still far behind the strength of King Xia Tian. However, it is a small step closer. After mastering the power of the wave guide, is there a chance to see the scenes in the mini dragon dream? Yang Yu had a thought, and then he became a little excited. Let's wait until bedtime to try this idea. Now, it's time to eat in peace. Wan Kai's Hu, you and Wu Yakui, aren't you both surprised? This is the promotion to the king. Cai Xuanyi looked at the table full of dishes in front of him, but he still had a lot to say that he was unhappy about. Just get used to it. Lao Cai, you probably haven't met Yang Yu at all other times except for the national competition. After you and Yang Yu have become familiar with each other for a long time, you will get used to it over time. This, normal operation, Wu Yuqian was already in a bad state of mind. Wan Kai's Hu nodded repeatedly, took a big sip of happy water, and smacked his mouth. He felt a surge of momentum all of a sudden. Lao Cai, you didn't go to the Sky City secret realm. Let me tell you, if you have been to the secret realm of Sky City, then you know that whatever happens to Yang Yu here is absolutely normal. Why do I feel a little cold behind my back when I hear these words? Lao Wan, why do I feel that the most powerful person in the secret realm of Sky City is actually you, right? Yang Yu felt something strange somewhere. Is this not a problem? Can it be regarded as receiving Wan Kai's Hu's blessing? Ha ha ha, Lao Cai, you don't know. It's a pity not to go to the secret realm of Sky City, otherwise you can personally feel Lao Wan's mysterious power. Wu Yuqian laughed heartily. Hey, it's been so long now, so don't mention it, don't mention it, don't mention it. Compared with Yang Yu and your mine, it's not worth mentioning, it's not worth mentioning. There were some wanton voices and laughter in the camp. At the main table, beside Yang Yu sat dumbfounded, beside Wu Yuqian sat the dream-inducing taper, Cai Xuanyi sat with Lucario, and Wan Kai's Hu sat with Shanado. The other elves, big and small, also have their own dinner territory. This time, Little Dream Demon is the host of the table entertaining the children. The task of enlivening the atmosphere naturally falls on Little Dream Demon and Tijipai. Yang Yu's side was lively, and the Little Dream Demon's side was also lively. It was a very happy thing to have so many elves gathered in this tent. Outside the tent, that is naturally a different scene. Salty Fish King and Big Beauty, Kentaro and Milk Ken, Tropical Dragon and Geranium, Bee Eagle and Little Chirp Bird. Of course, there are also two friends who are still single, Little Bayo Bayo and Giant Pincer Mantis. Little Bayo Bayo was not in a hurry, but Giant Pincer Mantis was even more so. Nothing better describes the Giant Pincer Mantis than a straight man of steel. In the field outside, although there was no candle light, there were bright spots of light scattered from the pearls that had gathered together. A circle around the camp was lit up. In the tent, lively discussions were still going on, probably just bragging together, and it had been a long time since we had such a relaxed gathering to have a good meal together. Yeah. Dede pushed the dining cart out. Get ready to make some desserts outside. The tent is really a bit small. The huge cake was even bigger than the tent where Yang Yu was. Under the night light, people who didn't know might have thought that someone had built a castle in the camp. After Dede's strength was promoted to Heavenly King, he could make some larger and more exquisite delicacies. More importantly, he added a natural flavor to the delicacies. The Salted Fish King looked at Dude, and his expression seemed to be asking Dude, how can he be considered to be at the level of the king? Having Heavenly King level combat power does not mean that you have been promoted to Heavenly King. The dull improvement in strength also made the Salted Fish King gradually full of desire for the Heavenly King level. During the gym level period, you have a king level combat power. What if you reach the king level? Red Lotus Transformation, Primitive Return, and Super Evolution. What kind of terrifying combat power would that have? Dede has already moved forward, so naturally the Salted Fish King cannot fall behind. At this time, the night has quietly deepened. In the tent, after Wu Yuqian, Wan Kaizhu, and Cai Xuanyi left with their elves, the place gradually became quiet and deserted. First let the little dream monster come into my dream, and then use the power of the wave guide, to make a Pokemon like a mini dragon. Yang Yu felt a little funny in his heart, but he was eager to try it. It is connected from my own dream to the dream of the mini dragon. Speaking of which, it seems a little mysterious. However, the power of wave guide can sense the thoughts and dreams of elves in the inner world, which is also a manifestation of the inner world. By the way, after Dada is promoted to the Heavenly King level, can he also achieve the effect that Lao Huidi used his superpower to project the dream world in the water gym last time? There are so many aspects of the king level strength that can be explored, but today, let me use the power of the wave guide to briefly see what the mini dragon's dream looks like. Yang Yu. Where is this horse, the candy world? Go to bed early tonight, be a Pokemon, adjust your state, and see you at noon tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 787. Yang Yu quit the dream group chat. This world of candy, is there something wrong? Why does it feel a bit like the Candyland map in Cow Speed in my impression? There is no sun or moon in the sky, only big donuts hanging there, and even the twinkling stars look like electromagnetic popping candies. The little dream demon was puzzled. Didn't the master Yang Yu want to come to the mini dragon's dream? Why did he exit as soon as he entered? Is this the dream of a mini dragon? Yang Yu felt that he had not admitted his mistake, but was this too much? The little dream demon nodded. This time, connected by the power of the wave guide, the little dream demon took Yang Yu to the candy dream world of the mini dragon again, and pointed the magic stick at the Moo Milk River. A figure slightly protruding from the river. Yang Yu. Brain pain. Is this soaking yourself to make yourself more delicious, so that it will be more fragrant when fried? Is this just eating oneself, mastering dragon-type moves while eating? The mini-dragon was flipping through the water in the Moo Milk River, like a loach. Yang Yu looked around and saw that the ground was covered with roads made of chocolate, and by the way, they were similar to inverted J-shaped cane-like candy canes. Fortunately, Yang Yu can also use this crutch to hook the mini-dragon in the Moo Milk River. Mum. The mini-dragon blinked and looked at Yang Yu, who appeared in front of him. He suddenly changed from his original lying posture to looking like he was sticking his head out of the river. Serious, well-behaved, even, starting to be shocked. Are you a Pokemon too? After mastering the power of Wave Guide, Yang Yu could feel what the mini-dragon was thinking at a glance. Is it surprising, unexpected, exciting? Yang Yu is no longer a human being. Let's make Pokemon. The mini-dragon blinked, and for a moment, he seemed to understand something. He immediately jumped up from the Moo Milk River, and then plunged into the Moo Milk River like a diver. Yang Yu only saw bubbles spitting out in the Moo Milk River. Then, when the mini-dragon appeared from the river again, there was something in its mouth. Mum. These pearls collected by the mini-dragon at the bottom of the Moo Milk River seemed like some extraordinary treasures, and they were placed in front of Yang Yu at this moment. Yang Yu was a little surprised, because the mini-dragon meant, this is for him to eat. The mini-dragon in the dream is so generous. Simply incredible. Me. 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 Can Yang Yu refuse the mini-dragon's kindness? The mini-dragon actually learned to share. But looking at the mountains of energy cubes in this candy world and the white clouds of marshmallows floating in the sky, it doesn't seem to be anything strange. In dreams, everything is there. Yang Yu readily accepted it. Eating food in his dream, especially the one shared with him by the mini-dragon, would give him a sweet feeling. That's the fun of raising an elf. No one knows when they will be touched. Even a simple little detail can make the trainer feel that it is worth cultivating the elves. By the way, little dream demon, what is it like in your dream? Yang Yu asked casually. It can't be that everything is deducted, right? Seeing the little dream demon's eyes turn into golden coins in the dream, okay, don't look anymore, Yang Yu must be right. Q. The QQ expression on Mimaki's face also revealed everything. Yang Yu stayed in the dreamland of the mini-dragon for almost half an hour, and he began to feel a little tired. This should be an early warning signal of the power of the Wave Guide. Yang Yu did not have the ability to directly enter dreams like the little dream demon, only through the guidance of the little dream demon and the bridge formed by the Wave Guide power frame, Yang Yu Ki was able to reach the dreamland of the mini-dragon. Such an experience. Could this be what it feels like to cheat? Yang Yu was secretly surprised. After the mini-dragon's dream world was connected to Yang Yu's dream world, his own dream world became more colorful. What I think about day and night, what I dream about every night, this sentence truly does not deceive me. After Yang Yu felt tired in the dream, he exited the dream of the mini-dragon again. Now, during the national competition, Yang Yu had new and interesting things to do. When the opportunity is ripe, Yang Yu can even see the little dream demon trying to open the dream door to the reverse world for the mini-dragon in his dream. If it's not possible in reality, maybe it can be done in a dream. Yang Yu has now begun to pray in his dream that he can find Full Moon Island and Crescent Island. Regardless of whether it is useful or not, it is okay to think about it in the dream. In the dream, it is not impossible to even super-evolve the green caterpillar into Rayquaza. In short, in the dream, Yang Yu can really be regarded as a kind of humanoid Pokemon, mastering the power of wave guides, and having the characteristics of being in 2s and 3s. The Dragon Claw evolved into the Dragon Fist. Now I'm exercising and preparing in my dream. After I go back, I can put on a good posture and compete with the croaking frog in my dream. That feeling is simply perfect. In the next few days, Yang Yu prepared to go to the dreams of Salted Fish King, De Mele, Dada, and Xiao Bao Bao in sequence. Yang Yu never wanted to go to the dreamland of the Salted Fish King once. What kind of experience is it like to be pulled by the Salted Fish King to sing karaoke in a dream? Yang Yu felt like he was out of his mind after hearing this. Where is this still a dream? It's just a horrible nightmare. Yang Yu regretted it. Why did he choose to continue wheat with the Salted Fish King so cheaply? When Yang Yu and Salted Fish King used the power of waveguide to communicate for the first time, they already had such an expectation, but Yang Yu still couldn't restrain his curiosity. Sure enough, being too curious is not a good thing. Big beautiful dream. Yang Yu originally thought that the beautiful dreamland would be as beautiful as the fairyland in the sea. Yang Yu was indeed right. In this beautiful environment, it was no less beautiful than the secret realm of the East China Sea Dragon Palace that Yang Yu had seen before. The dense white mist renders the dream like a dream. Yang Yu could vaguely see a gorgeous stage in the dream, with huge pearl oysters surrounding the stage. Just when Yang Yu was sighing at the beauty of the dream, the white mist dispersed. When the real scene on the stage appeared in front of Yang Yu, the smile on Yang Yu's face froze. Damn it! The elf on the stage is the Salted Fish King. In De Male's dream, De Male was also listening to Salted Fish King's concert. Sorry to bother you. After listening to Salted Fish King's concert in his dream for 2 days in a row, Yang Yu had begun to doubt his life. Fortunately, there is Dede in real life. After mastering the power of the waveguide, the wave missile is much simpler than imagined, because Dede naturally understands the moves and integrates them, condensing the power of the waveguide in the body. This is like the inner energy and inner power mentioned in martial arts. The condensation of the wave missile is to put both hands together and strike out with a spinning waveguide energy ball in the form of a beam of light. In this world, should it be called Silly Kagong? The first full moon is coming soon. GRRRRRR. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 788. In the Pearl Forest. Tomorrow is the last day of the forest team competition. Without Yang Yu this year, I always feel like something is missing. In a large open space surrounded by several trees, Wenren Fangchen squatted on the ground with a branch in his hand and gestured with something. If you look carefully, he looked a bit like a stick figure. It's hard to eat well these days. At that time last year, wow, if I followed Yang Yu, I would not only have food to eat, but also make a fortune. Hong Kong looked at the sky, feeling very nostalgic in his heart. That's a good thing for us, but a nightmare for trainers from other schools. When Ren Fangchen stood up, glanced at his points bracelet, smiled and said, "This year's situation is not bad, although it can't be compared with last year's ranking, but we have to continue to fight hard. Yes, we can't embarrass Yang Yu, he is waiting for our national competition results. Am I right, can reach duck?" Quay. Kodak Duck was nibbling on the big apple at this time, but was interrupted by Hong Kong. As a result, he turned back to look at his paws, frowned, and felt that something was wrong. Stare. So the question is, who on earth ate the big apple in my hand? Seeing KKU thinking deeply, Hong Kong sighed and felt a headache. Sigma. Kodakya's eyes were suddenly startled. Is there a ghost that doesn't exist in this forest? Quack quack quack. Koda Duck started running around the temporary camp in a panic again, as if he had discovered something terrible and terrible. Hong Kong glanced at Wenren Fangchen helplessly. These days in the forest team competition, Kodak seems to be suspicious. Since the Pearl Forest is a forest, there are naturally ghost elves. By the way, what is the duck afraid of? Although I have encountered some ghost elves in the past few days, they are not so scared, right? Maybe it's something we didn't find. Wenren Fangchen could only shrug. Apart from the battle between elves, there were no other supernatural things happening in the forest. This was normal. Hong Kong nodded. It's possible, but I feel that the duck just looked at the apple's movements and kept staring at the gnawed place. He probably suspected that something invisible had gnawed its apple, right? Isn't the apple something that the duck can eat by itself? Did you just see it? When Ren Fang Chen asked about the who did that evolved from Yangzhila around him during the Chinese New Year. Hu Di was stunned. The angle of this question was very tricky. But Hu Di still nodded. Because there were indeed no ghost elves around, otherwise Hu Di could easily sense the gloomy aura. Scaring yourself, Hong Kong patted his head gently, which could only be explained in this way. As the Gotha duck's strength continued to increase, the headaches became more and more severe, but there was still no sign of evolving into a Gotha duck. This made Hong Kong worried, and he went to many trainers to ask about this matter. Many of the replies received were confused about Hong Kong's choice of a Kodak duck as an elf. Even if there were some suggestions, they would not have any effect on the Kodak duck's situation. After all, it would be weird for an elite trainer to bring a reachable duck. But strangely enough, as long as Hong Kong holds Koda duck in his arms, Koda duck's headache will be relieved a lot. It seems that such a hug is the best medicine. Koda duck is a good boy, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Qua. Good morning, Professor Yang. In the past few days, Cai Xuanyi got up every morning and went out for morning exercises with his Lucario. While doing morning exercises, he also brought his other elf partners with him, as if he had formed a morning exercise team. It's going on outside the Pearl Forest. Yang Yu waved his hand. At this moment, he was also out of breath. Yang Yu found a way to improve his wave guide power. That's right, it's exercise. Life is movement. The limit of the wave guide power that I possess now is not the real limit, but the limit that I can reach under my current physical condition. Reasonable daily exercise will enhance the vitality of one's life, thereby expanding the container of the wave guide power, and gradually expanding the limit of the wave guide power again. This answer was still told to Yang Yu in a daze. The power of the waveguide and the power of nature stay in the early morning exercise every morning, shielding the mental power and superpowers, just like an ordinary junior elf. Because of this situation, Dede has his own unique understanding of the power of waveguides. This is probably the return to nature. Yeah. Dede slowly took a small step, guided the chi from his body to the whole body, spread out his hands unhurriedly, and slowly, following the natural wind, began to swing softly and powerfully. There is an unknown strength in this softness. Telescopic opening and closing, relaxing and powerful. Punch, push, pull back, rub. This way the noodles that come out will be tough. I saw Dada slapped his right hand, and a soft ball of dough bounced from the table into the air. If you look with your eyes wide open, you can even see this ball of dough vibrating in the air like a spring. When the chi formed by the power of the waveguide is running, this ball of dough seems to be absorbed. In the hands of Luo, no matter what, it will not fall down. Bare-handed chops, splitting tiles, and chi fists. Almost all the fighting moves that can be used are blended into the dough. The understanding of fighting type moves brought by the power of the waveguide is almost twice the result with half the effort. Coupled with some fighting basics that Dede himself learned in the fighting type gym, the title of Dada's Grand Master has become more and more important. Be stable. He took a small piece of dough from the dough, stretched it out, connected it end to end, and began to rotate it in his hand, rotating it to form a dough circle that would not break. Kung Fu noodles. This is a new type of delicacy made by Dada using fighting type moves. In the Foshan fighting type gym, Kung Fu noodles were the signature of the fighting type gym. The dull Kung Fu noodles have their own unique understanding. Because of being stupid, I understand the power of nature and the power of life better. Yang Yu looked at the dough that had not yet formed in his hand and was almost exhausted. In the end, he didn't even succeed in the first step. Chiliu. Yang Yu had already heard that in the tent next door, Teacher Guopeng was drooling uncontrollably. He was hiding behind the curtain of the tent and secretly watching. When the pot of boiling water outside the tent was opened, Dudu put the prepared noodles into it. Watching the hot water vapor rising into the sky from the Hangcheng TV University camp, it was another heartbreaking day. The king-level Slow King started making breakfast again. "What's for breakfast over there today?" All of a sudden, the breakfast meat buns prepared by the Elf Alliance were no longer fragrant. "Senior Brother Qian, Lao Wan, Lao Cai, dinner is ready." "What kind of sound is this?" "Teleport. Teleport. Teleport." The sound was still echoing in the Pearl Forest, and the three figures immediately appeared outside the camp where Yang Yu was. At the same time, right next to the Hangcheng TV University camp, a group of teachers rushed out in a swarm. "If it's too late, I won't even be able to drink the soup." What a nostalgic scene this is. At this time last year, Yang Yu was making money from students, but at this time this year, he was making money from teachers. The second silly food festival of the Forest Group competition was perfect. More importantly, it feels like you're back in high school. After all, if students go to the cafeteria late, there won't be any good food left. You can't do anything, and eating comes first, but at this time, nothing you do is of any use. Only what you eat is yours. If it's too slow, you won't have anything to eat. It turns out there are gnocchi in it, it's really good. Being able to eat breakfast cooked by a king-level elf, I can brag about it for the rest of my life. The gnocchi is good, the gnocchi is good, everything is good, everything is good. "Yang Yu, are you the one who made these noodles?" Wan Kai's who took a sip of clear soup and smashed it into his mouth, enjoying it. "Wan Kai's who, shut up."